there, my name is Beck, and the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop. So this is another in my ongoing guides to Big Finish. Now, I love Big Finish. Big Finish is a company that produces audio drama. They do a freaking awesome job at it. They do, they essentially do licensed products. There's Doctor Who, Star Trek, you know what Big Finish is. That's why it came to the video. But the trouble with Big Finish is this. They've been going for about over 20 years now. They've been putting out content after content and content. And now if you're coming to the new, it's just like a wall of stuff that you can't get through. It is impenetrable. So I started making these guides to help you navigate your way through the wacky, wonderful world of Big Finish audio drama. So you have a fighting chance to know what to get, what not to get, which direction to go in. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be focusing on the Fourth Doctor audios today. Again, look, for me it was kind of easy. I've been subscribing to Big Finish since they started. Since when was it? 98. I think from the original Bernie Summerfield releases on cassette. I didn't even get them on CD. That's how old they are. That was wow. It's over 20 years now. So yeah, but again, I understand. For newbies coming in, it is like, well, where do I go? So yeah, so that is what this is for. But before we get into it, can I ask you guys, can you hit the subscribe button? Thank you very much. I am genuinely very, very grateful to everybody who subscribes. I give stuff away each week on the channel. I want to show you my appreciation. It's we do competitions. You like stuff, I like stuff. And the stuff I gave away last week was very popular. So I'm going to give away similar stuff this week. Last week we gave away a Judge Dredd graphic novel, so I'm giving away another Judge Dredd graphic novel this week, which this one I think is one of the best ones ever. I mean, legitimately one of the best ones ever. This is from, what's this called again? The Judge Dredd, The Complete Crime Files. This is volume 5. This is a series where they started just reprinting each weekly story, in order. But this one has some gold in it. It has Judge Death Lives, the return of Judge Death is with art by Brian Bolland, Judge Anderson. Absolute fantastic. This is what made Judge Dredd the most incredible, wonderful strip that it is. And then we have the Apocalypse War. The Apocalypse War up by Carlos Ezquerra, passed away a couple of years ago. Again, just really classic, very fundamental. It's a fantastic book. I can't recommend this highly enough. All you need to do to win this is subscribe to the channel, and then in the comments leave the hashtag Death Lives. Death Lives. Go check the video notes for the information you need to win it. We're going to do the prize drawing. I guess it'll be on the 21st, Sunday the 21st, when I'm on the TARDIS zone. I think we're going to be discussing Tooth and Claw. It's New Earth. We're discussing New Earth, the season 2, episode 1, the first of the weekly David Tennant episode. I can't wait to do the watch along. I just really love that whole era we're getting into. Also, if you're checking the video notes, go to the video notes and have a look there. There is a Big Finish audio adventure you can download. This is Judge Dredd, Dredd versus Death. I think that's what it's called. So the reason I'm posting this is because you can't buy them anymore. They don't have the license for it, and you can't buy physical media. You just cannot get it, and it just kind of breaks my heart that these wonderful releases are just going to be lost. These incredible classics are going to be lost. So I'm posting them here. I would suggest, if you download it and enjoy it, which I really recommend because it's awesome. If you download it and enjoy it, then if Big Finish ever gets the license back and starts selling them legally, go over there and buy yourself a digital copy. It'd be like $2.99. It's so worth it. So yeah, I recommend it highly. Fine. So let's get into the guide to the Fourth Doctor on audio. But before we start with the Big Finish releases, let's talk a little about the history. He had a bit of a tortured path to Big Finish. His first release wasn't until, I believe, 2011, a good 12 years into Big Finish production, and he was asked many times in the period before he started recording with them, does he have any plans to do a Big Finish play? And he was always very, very disparaging of them. He said, I looked at the scripts, they weren't very good. But now he does them. He says one of his biggest regrets in his life, and he's not young anymore, so he has a pretty good perspective on life. One of his biggest regrets in his life is not doing Big Finish earlier. He really regrets not doing any series with Liz Sladen, and he just really likes it, and he likes the product they put out. It took him a while to get there. What I think got him there is BBC Books somehow got him to do a series called Nest Cottage, where he ostensibly plays the Fourth Doctor, but it's a very different Fourth Doctor. It has a very different feel. It's he has this little cottage called Nest Cottage. He has a housekeeper, Mrs. Wolseley, Miss Wolseley, something along those lines. They're all written by Paul Magers. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. Magrs. Great author, really great author. Does lots of really fun stuff. But it just feels very different. His companion in it is an older Mike Yates, and again, this all just feels like not like the Doctor Who that we've seen before. Certainly not like the Doctor Who from the mid-70s, which was Tom Baker's heyday. Which is, I think, really where Big Finish excels. However, you can get all 15 of these plays. They did 3 seasons of five stories each for like $30-40 from Amazon. I think $40 for download, $30 for $30 for download, $40 for physical. Pretty good value, but just know going in, these are a very, very different beast. A very, very different beast to any of the Doctor Who that you've seen before. Fine, so let's have a look at the Fourth Doctor on audio. So we can turn this on. Doink! And so, again, because it was like 11, 12 years before, and the only Fourth Doctor representation we had at first was in the companion Chronicles ranges, which were all reasonably good, actually. Yeah, I think these are all pretty good stories. The beautiful people, I don't remember the real details. I think it's been years and years since I listened to them. I just remember if I liked them or not. That's all I can really tell them. I remember Beautiful People was a kind of really nice, light, frothy adventure, which really kind of sorted Lala Ward. Lala Ward hasn't really slipped into her like huffing and sighing mode, which she does so much now, especially in the Gallifrey audios. It so put me off them. It really just stopped me listening to it. In fact, whenever I see a new Gallifrey, I'm like, I don't really need to pay $15-20 to hear Lala Ward huff and sigh and talk down to me. I just don't really need it. The Catalyst was the first Louise Jameson one. I remember that one was really, really good. And Empathy Games was another one. I believe that one might have been part of a trilogy of stories. They did that a lot with Companion Chronicles. That were really quite good. Steelers of Saith was the first time there was a Mary Tam one. That one was above average. All these ones were above average. The Perilous Effect, I don't remember that one at all, but I do remember like it. Time Vamper was freaking excellent though. That's a really, really clever one. Yeah, so this is all Time Vampire, Empathy Games, and I think there was one more that was connected to this. Were all in particularly good a series of stories. Invasion of E-Space, kind of forgettable. That was E-Space based story with Lala Ward. Feral's Folly was quite good. That's sort of a weird alien-esque isolated murder mystery. Tales from the Vault was 4 individual stories from the vaults of Unit, and they got other characters for who was it? I can't remember his name. Lee. I'm trying to read it from the cover. Jay Lee So, who was in the McGann TV movie from '96, and Daphne Hasbrook, because they can't put them in Big Finish stories because they can't license their characters. They had them in as other characters. So then finally, Tom Baker agrees to start doing Big Finish. I don't remember these missing stories coming out first, but yeah, I have this listed in release order. So I guess it must have done. I think they must have came out roughly. I think they were all announced at the same time. These ones were pretty good. This is the Foe from the Future. This was the lost story that was eventually replaced with Invasion of Time, and you can see not Invasion of Time, from Talons of Weng Chiang, and you can see like a lot of the similarities with that one. Valley of Death. Valley of Death was I think a little bit weaker than Foe from the Future. I mean, these are very, very authentic. They feel nicely, but you can kind of see why these stories were never taken up and made. They're going to do a lost story. I remember there was one that Douglas Adams did that they just couldn't film with, like a Planet of Cat People and Gallifrey or something wacky like that. Wonder why? Well, yeah, I'm going to research that. When I finish it. So yeah, so these again, £45, $45. I think that's a bit pricey, especially for release that old really Big Finish. This stuff, I think you can do more if you just slash the prices and sell them digitally. Fine. So let's get into the first season of Fourth Doctor Adventures. So they did something quite interesting when the first number is. They made just a bunch of 2-part stories, and it kind of worked. It was weird. It just kind of worked because you got to get like a full like go and see a full bunch of things going around the universe with them. And these stories, they didn't feel that slight. You know, they felt they were paced, pretty nicely. So the first one, Destination Nova, it takes Leela and Doctor ends up on Nova Beacon again. And Nova Beacon, I think Nova Beacon features again in the full Doctor audio, and it's kind of nice to see them go back to that setting. The sound effects, the soundscapes they do for it, just freaking perfect. And one thing you can really hear from these releases is just the joy, the sheer joy. They're doing new Doctor Who with Tom Baker, which is like, this is golden goose that they had chased for many years. And I think, they felt kind of dejected that Tom Baker was so deeply not interested, and also disparaging. They kind of got to a point where they said, I'm not really interested. But eventually, when Tom Baker said yes, they found they were interested, and they were really excited. They just embraced it. I think the advertising tagline was it's 1977. It's a winter. It's a dark 1977 evening, Saturday evening, all over again. And it really was that feeling. So this was a Destination Nova. That one is a recommend. I enjoyed that one. Renaissance Man is I would say I'll give that one a 6 out of 10. It's kind of forgettable. But it's just so nice to hear this really authentic full Doctor adventure, which we hadn't heard since this was 2011, so it would have been 25, like 35 years, and it really was. Wrath of the Iceni was really clever. Again, we have Doctor and Leela meeting up with the Iceni, I think. Bodicea, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. I'm not sure how they pronounce it, but that was a clever pairing up. John Dorney's script, I'm just looking at John Dorney's script, always reliable. John Dorney's scripts, and then you had Energy of the Daleks, which I really liked. Again, 2-parter, so it whizzes through quickly. I believe they released this one on vinyl as well. So it's more of a special release. Again, 2 stories. So this one actually does feel kind of quick. It just goes by really quickly, but still, it's just great to hear the Fourth Doctor and Daleks in a new adventure, and it's there's an interesting plot with this. Nicholas Briggs script. There's an interesting plot where the Daleks comes up with a plan that really fits into 1970s. 1970s, but this would have been very topical. And I think, and then the season finishes with a 2-parter, the Trail of the White Worm, which also features Jeffrey Beaver's Master. Very good combination between Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker, and Jeffrey Beavers. They work off really nicely off each other, and I do recommend them. And then the season finale is the Asylum Adventure. It's the return of what they call the Crowls. You can see them on screen. The Crowls also has the Master in it. Just a really good rip-roaring season finale. And that was kind of the template for the Fourth Doctor seasons. Then we get another one of the Companion Chronicles, The Child, which I believe is the 3rd part of the trilogy, which was started off with Empathy Games and what's the other one? Empathy Games and Time Valve. Time Valve was very good. I remember that one a lot. It's so weird. These Companion Chronicles were $7.99. These full cast audio adventures are $8.99. I really did think Big Finish. These older releases, you need to just plummet the prices. They just need to come down. Okay, so the second season it was with Romana too, with Mary Tam, and it was really fun. And again, these just got much more light and frothy. So the first story is the antimatter. So this is like Doctor Who meets P.G. Woodhouse, kind of like Jeeves and Wooster. So it's 1920s, 1930s aristocracy, and it was great. Funnily enough, though, I found the covers for these ones not as great as the previous cover. The previous season cover, and weirdly enough, that really affects my enjoyment of the story. And I'm looking at The Sounds of Life, which introduced David Warner as an ongoing villain called Cuthbert, who has this company called Conglomerate. So Cuthbert is, I think, one of the last hangovers from Audiovisuals. Audiovisuals was the fan group that made Doctor Who radio plays in the 80s. If you ever want to listen to them, go back and listen to my old videos. In this one, I'm giving away a Just Dredd audio, but in older ones, I gave away audio visual ones. It's a very good pairing. It's a very good Doctor villain pairing. Tom Baker versus David Warner, and I'm kind of glad that they go over. And it repeats a few times. So so then we have the War Against the Land. I think this is connected somehow. I'm pretty sure it's connected to the previous release. It's kind of a eco thriller, if I recall correctly, and it's worth it. And yeah, again, really, I really enjoyed this season. But the season really goes into the ionosphere with the Justice of Jagsar, which is Romana 2, Fourth Doctor, meet Jago and Lightfoot. Oh, just glorious. Absolutely. It's a two-story release, but yes, absolutely glorious. That one is a strong recommend. It's all Fourth Doctor and Jago Lightfoot. Oh, actually, I tell you, I think that'll be my next video. We'll be going through the Jago and Lightfoot series, because Leela really worked well with them. They brought it back for a lot of time. The next release was one of the Destiny of the Doctors ones. This was the 50th anniversary series. No, again, this whole series is pretty missable. Lala Ward, Companion Chronicles style one. Phantoms of the Deep. Phantoms of the Deep wasn't a bad story, but again, I was put off by the cover. Really stupid reason, but I'm really put off by the cover. I guess I'm just a very visual guy, because I just couldn't see Tom Baker in the wetsuit, which is in there. I just couldn't imagine it happening. Pretty fun story. Again, it's very nice hearing Tom Baker and Mary Tam together. And then we got a really good Dalek Conglomerate Cuthbert two-parter finale. Dalek Contract and the next phase, the awful capitalist conglomerate and Cuthbert join forces with the evil Daleks, and adventures ensue. So again, this was a four-part story, in essence, as is the season finale of The Crown one. In season one, if you really want that four-part story. But again, I didn't really miss them. It was really strange. They just seemed to be it just kind of worked, and I really don't know why. Next release is Light the End, which I always say, one of the best releases, and it's really one that you should totally go for if you want to check out Big Finish. $12.99, so worth it. And then the next one after that is a subscriber special, which they now released, Night of Stormcrow. Pretty good. This is Mark Platt script, a bit of a spooky dooky one, a scary one. Fourth Doctor and Leela, and I believe Chase Masterson is in it as well, for Leela, the Dabo girl from Deep Space Nine. So then we're back with Leela for this first series, and the King of Sontar. King of Sontar was a really fun one. You have this like super Sontaran, who is like is too big to exist, really. And you can get the first part of this one for free. So yeah, there's a lot of free tasters you can get Big Finish. But yeah, that's a strong recommend. Luna Romana was the last part of a Companion Chronicles trilogy, dealing with the Doctor's flight from Gallifrey and their accidental kidnapping of a Gallifreyan technician, Quadringer Singh. Was it Quadringer Singh, I think his name is, played by Terry Malloy. Was it Quadringer Stoin? Yeah, this one's a miss. There's a lot to describe. This one's the only thing I liked about it. You had three runs in it. You had the Lala Ward, you had the Mary Tam, and you had the Juliet Lando Romana, which I really wish I did more of. She was very good casting. She was in one of the Gallifrey releases, and it was a lot better for it. Gallifrey without a huffing and sighing Romana, quite a bit better, I would say. It's fine. So now we're firmly into the third story. Is White Ghost. I remember this story. It was quite a clever one. It's about some kind of like spooky sound, as I recall. This whole series, I think, has a lot more Gothic horror than the other two. The other ones were a little bit more sci-fi. This is very Robert Holmes territory. The Crooked Man is really, really good as well. Crooked Man has a really good, creepy villain in it, when we find out what it is, it just actually works a lot better. But there's a whole like really interesting way straddling fiction from novels and fiction from books and reality, and so making a very scary release, which again recommend. So yeah, my basic review of all these was they're pretty good. If you like the Fourth Doctor, you'll like these. The Evil One, excellent one. I keep saying it. Evil One, excellent one. This is the Fourth Doctor. Another Fourth Doctor versus Jeffrey Beaver's Master, and there's a really interesting interplay between the Master and Leader in this one. Last of the Colophon, I do not remember anything about it at all. Other than Gareth Thomas is in it. I'm just looking from the cover. I think this whole series was a lot more Gothic horror, as I recall. So the next story is Destroy the Infinite. This was a good one. So you have this these villains that they were appearing in a lot of Big Finish things, which they kind of forgot about. The Eminence, I think they're called. They're really good villains. They're really, really great bandits. And they were in a Colin Baker release and a Tom Baker release. I think another one, but they were really, and they just kind of vanished. So this was them the Tom Baker release with these villains that were kind of like made out as gas, and they would inhabit bodies or take things over. So this was about a story this is basically Doctor Who does Sink the Bismarck. Sink the Bismarck was a war story about sinking this massive German ship called the Bismarck. Kind of the same thing with the Eminence ship called the Infinite. Destroy the Infinite. The Abandons is a really interesting one that deals with, again, the line between fiction and reality. Who wrote this one? Because Nigel Fairs and Louise Jameson. So I remember this was the first one that she wrote. She was really nervous about it as well. I think she did a pretty darn good with this one with the one. And the season ended with Zygon Hunt, which is again, as it says on the tin, a pretty good Zygon tale. I kind of prefer the Zygons in classic Who, which I just imagine that they are listening to you. I guess they could be the modern Zygons than the modern Zygons. But yeah, that was a pretty good season finale. So then we got a couple of interesting releases. We got the Philip Hinchcliffe presents. This came out from when they were doing the Lost Stories. So Philip Hinchcliffe says, look, I get another couple of ideas that I never developed. Why don't we do some? And I think he did a couple of volumes. So again, this is Fourth Doctor and Leela. These are 4 episode stories each, as I recall. I don't think they're 6 episode stories. The Devil's Armada, something to do with the it's set in the Middle Ages. Is that the one with Sir Francis Drake in it? It's some seafaring adventure. And the Ghost of Gralstead is another of the haunted house stories. As you can tell from my like kind of clues review, a little bit forgettable. What's not forgettable though is the Romance of Crime. Gareth Roberts' book that was the New Adventures book adapted by John Dorney. Absolutely fun, so much fun. This is the Fourth Doctor and Romana 1 dealing with a really interesting villain that really fits into that era. Kind of and like an art thief and art and crime and high society and Ogrons. What more could you want? $12.99, very good value. I recommend that one. Highly. As I also recommend the English Way of Death. Well, if you want to get them both, you can save $1 or £1. They sell them in one set together. English Way of Death is 1930s, also 1930s seaside adventure. Where aliens are going on holiday in historical England, and the Fourth Doctor Romana gets involved. A lot of fun. Again, you can buy both these as a set. Very, very strongly recommending them. So fine. So now we're on to the full season and the Excellence. This is a return to the Excellence. Kind of like this one felt kind of pointless. A fun adventure nonetheless, but it's just like why bother seeing them again? They could have. I guess it was kind of interesting, and it's more interesting. This was the Exlons before they were wiped out. This was like back when the City of the Excellence was inhabited by the Excellence. Then the Darkness of Glass was a pretty good, scary one as well. It's something to do with some monster being projected through light and through photography. Quite like that one. I like Requiem for the Rocket Man. This is the third in a 3-part Rocket Men adventure. The Rocket Men are this criminal syndicate that go around on rocket packs stealing stuff, and we see them versus the second Doctor, maybe the first Doctor, second. But anyway, this is time the Rocket Men versus the Fourth Doctor and Leela, and it's so much fun seeing them come against like petty criminality, which is exactly what it is. So then we have another of the Gareth Roberts new adventure. Missing adventure. Adaptations, The World Manor, which features the Chenolians, which are just great villains, tortoise-like monsters, and they've had this war going on for a long time, and they just become very polite. Again, Fourth Doctor, Romana. I love the cover. If you can just see here, it's Romana essentially wearing John Pertwee's a feminized John Pertwee costume. So fine. So now we're back into the regular release. Death March, I remember nothing about whatsoever. Matt Fitton release, and Matt Fitton's normally pretty darn good. Suburban Hell is interesting. This is when the Fourth Doctor and Leela are trapped in a very domestic prison. They're trapped in other lives. This is like actually they did, I think, a little bit better in a later release, which I'm probably going to come across soon. So then we had the Cloisters of Terror. Yeah, now they're all kind of just melding into each other. Now they're kind of just on a treadmill. Really can't tell you anything about that whatsoever. Nice title. Fate of Krelos and Return to Telos, I think, are a two-parter that go with each other, like it's a 4-parter. Return to Telos is, as it says in the tin, they return to Telos with the Tombside Men. Not as good as you would have thought it would have been. I get, you know how I know someone's going to thought it would have been? Can't tell you anything about it. Can't remember anything about this story. If I have time, I might go and re-listen to this. I'm like thinking, well, how could it be that bad? It also has Fraser Hines in it as well as Jamie. So I think there's something happens where he get. Yeah, that's one. The TARDISes get mixed up, which is something they were doing quite a lot in Big Finish around that era. Fine, so now we're back into, I think, was this the 5th season now? Let me see, does it say? I'm just going to open up in a new tab and see if it tells me. This is, we're into the 5th season now. Way of Destruction, again, it was so stupid. I'm put off by the cover because I just don't feel the cover really worked. But I don't remember anything about it at all. This one, if they don't, listen to it. If it hasn't made an impression, probably a bit meh, a bit bland. Again, but they're just in this grind right now. The Labyrinth of Murder Castle was an interesting one. Kind of like Fourth Doctor Romana versus Dracula, like a real Dracula, Vlad the Impaler type story. Is there Vlad the Impaler in this one? Again, I purposely don't review these ones, to be honest, because I want you to hear my initial impressions, which a lot of times is like, I wonder what that was. Paradox Planet, I remember. Paradox Planet was very good. Paradox Planet and Legacy of Death was a pretty good 2-parter to finish off the season. I think, it's a planet with doing something with time travel. And things kind of go backwards and forwards, and it's a little bit confusing. But I remember being, the season finales are normally above average. So listen, if you like Fourth Doctor Romana, that era, this one might be for you. That 2-parter. Gallery. Oh no, that wasn't the season finale. But they were definitely connected, those two. They were definitely connected. You can tell by the covers are connected. You can see they one links to the other. Gallery of Ghouls, can't tell you anything about it. Again, we're in deep grind territory right now. But I do remember the Trouble with Drax. Trouble with Drax was freaking awesome. So Drax is a Cockney Time Lord that we've seen in what was it? Key to Time series. And so you see many versions of Drax. This is just a fun release. This is just a really fun release, and it keeps wrong footing you and taking you in a direction that you don't think you're going to go in. I like this one a lot. So I think this is probably this one's the will be the two-part season finale. Is it? Yeah, because these are both featuring David Warner's Cuthbert and Conglomerate. The Pursuit of History and Catalyst of Time. Again, this is Conglomerate doing something very naughty with time, which the Fourth Doctor and Romana have to intercede to get involved with. I think this. Oh yeah, these ones have Toby Hadokian as the Conglomerate. There's Cuthbert's obsequious personal assistant. All these ones I enjoy. These ones are all a cut above. So then we have another of the missing adventures, and I have to say, they just released a few more Lost Stories, and they totally changed the cover design. I like this monotone cover design. I'm really annoyed I understand they had to lose the branding because of the branding guys changed. But I'm just just really annoyed that they changed it. So this was another Philip Hinchcliffe story. Seemed to me almost very very similar to both Foe from the Future and Talons of Weng Chiang. I think we probably did best getting Talons of Weng Chiang at £25. They're $25. That's kind of a price to release, I think. Fine. So then we got some short trips, and then we get then we're back into season 6. More Lala Ward ones. Beasts of Kravanos features Jago and Lightfoot. Any story with a full Doctor and Jago and Lightfoot is a strong recommend. The Eternal Battle is another very good. It's a Sontara one. It does this one have? This is I think the first one with Dan Starkey, who has completely taken over the realm of Sontarans now. Because this must be mid-20 after 2015. I would have thought. Silent Scream is kind of a fun early Hollywood story by James Goss. Not bad. All these ones. I guess really think they should just they should sell seasons at like very discounted prices, and they will probably get a lot more sales out of these ones. I think if they did a season for like $30, people would be like, I'll give that a go. Give that a go. I'm trying to remember. So that's the third one, Silent Scream. Then we got another one, the Philip Hinchcliffe Presents stories, which is not a lost story, just another story that Philip Hinchcliffe said, I could do that. So this is a, I can't tell you anything about it. Not a thing. Full Doctor Leela, something to do with Anglo-Saxons, I think, and some burial mound. Death Wrath, don't know. Do not know at all. I don't even recognize the author. It is sparking zero memories in me whatsoever. I know I've listened to it. I know I bought it. Zero memories. Again, doesn't bode well for it. The Haunted Marketplace though was a very good one. I do remember that. It was a really really creepy one. Some kind of World War One thing, as I recall. But this was a genuinely scary one, as I recall. Subterranea, that was also pretty good. Subterranea was, it was a Jonathan Morris one. Some kind of like malevolence living under the ground, sucking things up. I think. I really don't know, but I do know the next one, the Mavellan Grave, was a good one. I think that was the beginning of. Is that the end of the season or the beginning of the season? Let's have a look. Yeah, we're at So we're at the end of season 6. This features the return of the Mavellans, and Polly Walker is really good as a Mavellan. She's got those clipped toes, and she looks good as a Mavellan on the cover as well. It shouldn't make a difference. But to me, it does. Then we got new Doctors, classic Doctors, new monsters, and this has the Fourth Doctor versus the Vashta Narada. The shadow. Things that eat you up from Silent in the Library. In general, good set. All these, but I think they did both these sets. Both of them are good. Both of them are worth your while. And $30. That $30 for four discs. That's your sweet spot, right? They're right there. I think that really is your sweet spot. The Skin of the Sleek is I don't remember. I believe we're at the season finale-ish things right now. Yes, okay, fine. I remember they're on this planet, which the planet has some kind of living entity. That as I recall, so something along those lines. So now, yes, that's the end. So then we're back to Leela for series 7. Leela starts off with the Sons of Kaldor, which is actually a pretty good story. You know, it's always a pity when they can't get the guy who did what's his name? The guy who did the voices for the robots. I think Toby Hidoki normally does the robots their voices, and they've done quite a few Kaldor City stories. But yeah, unfortunately, none of them are as good as the Caldor City stories by the name Caldor City. I'm actually going to do a video on them. I might do that this week. A video on Caldor City. That's not to say they're not worth your while. They are pretty good. And also, you can get the first episode for free. This has an interesting new dimension into Caldor City. But keep in mind, this is in a totally different timeline from the Caldor City releases from Caldor City, starring Paul Darrow. Crown March Experiment was a freaking awesome one. That was the standout one in the in this series. Again, this is the Doctor and Leela put into different lives. They're in very suburban lives, and Leela's got to try and find a way out of that and see the see the falseness in the reality that she's presented. Then we got Mind Runners and the Demon Risers. These were really kind of disappointing. These ones, these ones are the only ones I would say is a no recommend, which is quite. I feel bad doing it, but this one I would say these two are a definite miss. They were kind of they were kind of bland, I think. But you can get these as a box set, which is probably better. And we got more short trips. And so then that's the first part of the season. So then we have the second part, Bad Penny. I don't remember that one. It was Shadow of London, Bad Penny. Yeah, don't really remember either. But they look like I'm pretty sure they're also connected. I think so. At this point, they're into they've abandoned the two-parters, and they still do individual releases, but they're just part 1 and 2 and part 3 and 4. Just their sequel, or the sequel stories, depending on how you want to look at it. And I think I think the whole thing ends up with the Age of Kill the Doctor, Age of Sutek. This one was good. This takes place on an alternate Earth where a siren occupied Earth. It doesn't play out the way you think it is, but it's pretty darn good. Guy Adams author. Guy Adams is always very very dependable. Fourth Doctor turned up in the Dire River song. I'm kind of off Dire River song. Then we got a couple of short trips, and now we're on to the Sinestra Kill. This is what they call it. They call it the Syndicate Master Plan. So this is a pretty good series. This one I would recommend. Oh, so they got the first episode for free. This is a direct sequel to the Dalek Master Plan. And you see the Fourth Doctor dealing with criminality in the Fourth Doctor universe with a new companion, with Jane Slavin playing a policewoman from the late 70s, early 80s, or is she? There's an intrigue that goes on with her, and there's basically a one plot thread that runs throughout all these stories. Planet the Trash Eggs I thought was actually a particularly good one. And the challenges and numbers that takes you out the main story. False Guardian, really good. Again, this one we're getting into real direct sequel. And this who was it? I think John Carter's in this, playing a lot of the roles from from this, and you again you getting to see this like the vague cross of the Venn diagram circles between galactic evil and like criminal empire. It's kind of like the Tomorrow People. They were kind of in that territory. I would say this the Syndicate Master Plan, $30 for the first part. This is totally worth it. This is a strong season. So by the time that you get in the second season, they ended on a cliffhanger, which carries on in the second part. Times Assassin Fever Island, I believe, takes you out of the arc. The Perfect Prisoners Part 1 and 2 wraps everything up, and again has an interesting denouement for this companion, and it's got a really poignant Tom Baker speech at the end about about this companion, about how he feels about people in general. This is absolutely beautiful. This one is absolutely beautiful. I really recommend this one highly as well. This is probably what was one of the strongest ones in a while. Hey, you know how's one of the strongest ones? Because I remember these ones. Do you remember the last, like, seasons 6 and 7, or 5 and 6? I was like, oh, I don't remember. I don't. All these ones I remember because they're also closer in time, but they're also, pretty darn good. You didn't get a feeling they were on a treadmill, but they're actually trying to do something new and interesting in this. And also you get all the trappings of the Dalek Master Plan. So you get the space, the special space service. You get all the aliens from that were working together, to perform the Dalek Master Plan, and you see what happened with them afterwards. So next is one of my favorite releases. I absolutely adore this release. This is the comic strip Adaptations, and I wish they'll do more. So this is Adaptations of the Doctor Who comic strip, and you can kind of just feel Dave Gibbons drawing this as he's watching. They have to flesh it out a hell of a lot. They put in a lot more stuff, but it really works. You got the Iron Legion, which is the Fourth Doctor on this Roman occupied world, and you got what's the other one? I can't remember what the what it's called. Meet the Beep. But it's the Star Beast. That's it, Star Beast, where it lands in like contemporary, which was late 1970s North England, and again, just really works. But they're so bonkers. They're so fruity and different. Yeah, I really like this set. I really like like this set a lot. Legacy of Time, I would skip. It was one of their big anniversary releases. Didn't really gel together, which is a shame. So now we're into the most recent season, which puts you in the E-Space trilogy. So you got Chase of Night. Really love this story, and all these stories are very organic to the E-Space trilogy. It all deals with like planets facing entropy and things dying, and they're all very sciencey. They're all very Christopher, what was it? Bynamede, you do get the feel. So Chase of Night is much like a TV show, which I'm watching right now, and it's surprising how much I like it. It's essentially Doctor Who does Snowpiercer. There's a train that travels around the planet. And once on the daylight side of the planet, it's burning hot, and anybody who goes there will be burnt up. So they've got to constantly be on the night side of the planet, which is why they got this train going over there. And the train is now devolved into some kind of fascist dictatorship. Again, this is essentially Doctor Who, the Doctor Who Romana and Adric to Snowpiercer. And had I not known Snowpiercer, that's really weird. They got that there. Had I not known Snowpiercer, but by the when I saw this, I would have gone. I probably would have liked this left. Purgatory 12 is another one. Where they're on. By the way, now they're on to 4-part stories. They totally abandoned the 2-part stories. They're on to 4-part stories. Purgatory 12 is another one of these strange worlds with strange living planet stories, which we get a lot of in this season. But I just kind of like it, and you get they're on a planet with quite a lot of not very nice people. Sarah Jane Smith stories. I don't know why they're telling, but they're selling them for both seasons for $25. Not bad. Yeah, look, they're all Liz Sladen. This is totally a different timeline from the Sarah Jane Adventures, but they're quite good. $25 for or £25 for two seasons was pretty good value. The quest of the engineer, again, it's science gone out of control and entropy over and over again. But again, I do enjoy pretty much all these stories. Planet, which is rounds up the E-Space season they did, fitting very neatly in there, and just feels again everything Big Finish does feels very organic to the to whatever era they're recreating. Then the latest release was Shadow of the Sun, which they recorded in lockdown, and for some reason they released now. I don't really understand why they released it. I did just show they could do it, but I just don't get it. It's a fair story. Not great. Not terrible. This is one you feel like, oh, they're on that grind again. Like boom, just they're planning out stories. This is a bunch of people are on a spaceship that's heading towards the sun. They're testing out some scientific principle which they're fanatically devoted to, and even though every bit of common sense says being on a ship heading to the sun may end up having you made into burnt toast. And so the next release we have is Out of Time, the Tom Baker, David Tennant one. Oh, who is not up for that? And I'm really wondering what more Out of Time ones they're going to do. I had a thought last night. Maybe they all have Tom Baker in, because what would get Peter Capaldi to do a story more than doing a story with Tom Baker? And wouldn't you love to hear that? And maybe, I don't know, you'll get Matt Smith or even Christopher Eccleston, who the lore of doing a story with Tom Baker may indeed be enough to bring them in. But they're doing two more releases of that. Who knows what they could be? I mean, my initial thought was they're just going to do other Dr. Perry, but maybe they all got Tom Baker. That would be absolutely fantastic. So there you go. That is your guide to the Fourth Doctor on Big Finish. I hope you found it helpful. Let me know what you guys would like me to do a guide on next. My name is Sheila Becken, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.